Good afternoon, everyone, and this is my video case study report. So for the problem identification and analysis, TBC has a toxic organizational culture that's a symptom arising from the underlying assumptions which tolerate abuse. According to Edgar Skein's model, organizational culture is composed of three levels: artifacts, espoused values, and basic underlying assumptions. As evidence from the case study, the red sky presentation suggests that the artifacts were indicative of a stifling environment. The espoused values, which on paper CBC seemed to be a model of employer enlightenment. However, it contrasts with the assumptions of the employees, like Boral did not register a formal complaint because she feared for her job and career, and that Nurani, the head of HR, had a title that's higher than Gomeshi on paper, but is different from reality. And second is a hierarchical imbalance that prevented employees from speaking up about mistreatment is a symptom arising from the power abuse in the workplace. An authoritative culture is fundamentally based on power and control. As a result, bullying and prejudice are widespread. So, due to the culture in CBC, key, talented, or high-performing employees wield greater influence and face less accountability. So as seen in the case study, this enabled the host's inappropriate behavior because Gomeshi had the backing of CBC executives, and employees like Catherine Borrell felt unable to confront him because he's a high-profile talent. So the root of the problem seems to be a culture that concentrates decision-making power and influence disproportionately with the certain high-value individuals. This power imbalance enables abusive behaviors by insulating powerful actors from accountability. So, solution one is the implementation of whistleblower policy. Advantages include, for one, deterring and exposing misconduct. A well-designed whistleblower policy helps create an environment in which employees may openly express their concerns to a suitable designated authority without fear of being victimized. By providing safe avenues for reporting, the policy can deter perpetrators and expose illegal or unethical activities. Second is promoting transparency and accountability. A transparent whistleblower policy can foster a culture of accountability where individuals feel empowered to address issues without fear of retaliation. This can lead to more ethical and responsible workplace environment for all employees. Lastly is early detection and resolution of problems. Prompt reporting of problematic behaviors allow for swift investigation and corrective action, potentially mitigating the negative consequences of toxic culture on employees and organization. Disadvantages include, for one, potential for retaliation and victimization, because despite legal protections, employees who report misconduct may still face retaliation within the organization. This can discourage reporting and perpetuate the already toxic culture. Second is misuse and frivolous complaints. Whistleblowing policies may be misused for personal vendettas, which cause disruption and wastage of resources. Lastly is limited scope and ineffectiveness in deeply entrenched cultures. CBC is deeply entrenched in a toxic culture. A whistleblower policy alone may be insufficient to affect meaningful change. Systematic problems require comprehensive cultural transformation efforts alongside with whistleblower protection. The second solution is the transition to clan culture. So organizational culture is guides an organization's actions. Clan cultures, similar to close-knit families, pervade workplaces where loyalty, shared values, and a sense of belonging are paramount. So advantages include enhanced employee engagement. Clan cultures shared values and sense of purpose foster a strong emotional connection to the business, which results in employee engagement and motivation. Employees feel appreciated, and it instills a sense of ownership and responsibility for attaining goals, which moves them away from the toxicity of the organization. Stronger employee loyalty. This emphasis on shared values and mutual support fosters strong bonds between employees and organizations, creating an environment where employees feel safe to report and secure in the environment. Disadvantages include resistance to change. The strong emphasis on tradition and conformity within clan cultures create resistance to change and new ideas. Employees may hesitate to challenge status quo or propose innovative solutions. Lastly, potential for groupthink and unhealthy dynamics. The close-knit nature of clan cultures can sometimes foster unhealthy dynamics like groupthink, where individuals prioritize maintaining harmony within the group over voicing dissenting opinions. So which solution is better? We look at the industry and size. Evidently, from the case study, we can see that CBC is a very big company. However, smaller or collaborative startups might thrive in clan culture, while larger and competitive organizations might need a stronger hierarchical culture element. These highly innovative culture can be hard to create and sustain. And we see the culture of the organization. Judging by the systematic oppression of employees within CBC, it's made clear that unless the culture itself is changed, implementing a whistleblower policy would still be futile. Currently, private sector whistleblowers who are victims of retaliation may find themselves faced with statutory and common law remedial options that are gap-filled, unpredictable, and narrow, which ultimately provide no legal remedy. If a company intends to use the whistleblower policy as an effective tool against corporate frauds, it must make provisions in the policy that facilitate and encourage whistleblowing. So justifications include building trust and psychological safety. Employees feel more comfortable speaking up about problems and concerns, creating an environment conducive to addressing toxic behavior before it escalates. Whistleblower policies, on the other hand, while providing reporting avenues, may initially focus on identifying wrongdoers, and this can create an atmosphere of fear and suspicion, hindering open communication and trust building. So long-term cultural transformation includes shifting towards a clan culture, promotes intrinsic motivation and sense of belonging. Employees become invested in organization success and actively contribute to positive change. This deeper engagement fosters a shift away from the negative dynamics of toxic culture. Whistleblower policies, while effective in immediate intervention, may not address the underlying causes of the toxic culture. They focus on reactive measures rather than proactive cultural transformation. And lastly, sustainability and system level change. A well developed clan culture incentivizes ethical behavior and collective responsibility. Individuals naturally uphold shared values and hold each other accountable, creating a sustainable systemic shift away from toxicity. Whistleblower policies, while valuable tools, require ongoing maintenance and resource allocation. They address individual incidents but might not address deeply ingrained cultural patterns. Ultimately, a clan culture fosters interconnectedness and collaboration, viewing the organization as a holistic system where individual well-being is tied to collective success. This holistic approach aligns with addressing and preventing toxic behavior. So, action plan and strategy. What is the transition of organizational culture from hierarchical to clan culture? How? Conduct employee surveys and focus groups to assess current culture and identify areas for improvement. Provide training to managers on building trust, facilitating teamwork, giving feedback, and managing participation. Revise policies and procedures to increase transparency and communication. Restructure roles and responsibilities. Implement new recognition programs. Conduct training sessions for all employees who understand the policy and who includes HR department for drafting, legal review, and policy implementation. CEO and executive team champion the culture of change and model behaviors. HR department to facilitate surveys, training, policy updates. Managers to adopt and implement cultural changes. Employees to participate in surveys, trainings, adopt cultural changes. Senior management for approval and endorsement. External consultant for training, development, and delivery. When? Employee surveys and focus groups, Q1, management training, Q2 of the year, policy and procedures updates, Q3, role or responsibility restructure, Q3 or 4, new recognition programs, Q4. Types of costs includes training and development and facilitation costs, survey and focus groups, management training and development and delivery, employee training, rewards and recognition. Potential problems include employees or managers may resist the transition, lack of management capability to facilitate clan culture, confusion or cynicism for employees based on past culture, and loss of profits due to increase in inefficiency caused by adjustment period of new culture. This is it, and this is the references. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.